Hello and welcome to the China Show, the Real China Show, episode 257.
It is. That is the area code of our Canadian brothers and sisters in Vancouver, beautiful city. Mm-hmm. Shout out to you guys if you're watching from Vancouver. Let us know in chat or in the comments. Shout out to you. We got a big show today.
Massive. We should just saunter right into it with what's new. So this is where we talk about what's new, specifically with regards to China. Okay, and there are a couple of things we have to cover. First of all, we're going to show you something that's not new.
No. That's why it's in What's New.
Yes.
This is a reminder, and this jogged my memory.
Yes.
Because I've been seeing like ads here in America, actually everywhere, just sneaking into the weirdest of places. There's like people are talking about they're going to put ads in the sky and stuff, and I'm like, can we rein this in?
Sure.
Right? So I just wanted to remember what dystopia looks like.
Yes.
In China, there are these machines that came out about 2 or 3 years ago. These are toilet paper dispensers, and by the way, not in the countryside. This is like in this is in Guangzhou, so
yes.
tier 1 city.
Yeah.
In the bathrooms.
Yeah, newsflash, there is no free toilet paper in any bathrooms in China.
So to know what dystopia looks like is China goes, well, there is no free toilet paper. You got to bring your own little packets of tissues everywhere you go, because people will just steal it. So what they do is they make you scan your personal information in. Okay.
Yeah. So use your WeChat. Yeah. You scan this
QR
QR
that
code.
in, which is connected to your bank account and everything. You scan that in, and they make you watch a 30-second ad for 1 square of toilet paper. And you can do repeat ads.
Okay.
I mean, repeat viewings.
Yes.
So you get 1 square, so it's about a minute and a half to get 3 squares of
Yeah,
toilet
so you don't
paper.
have to pay for it, by the way, just in case you're wondering. But you scan the QR code, you watch an ad, and then it dispenses something.
I just wanted to warn us as a people, global citizens here.
Please don't do this.
Can we look at China as an example of what not to do?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. Just a little.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to give you a challenge, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
How much would I have to pay? And I'm being serious. How much would I have to pay you to do what this dude did and stay here? And if you're listening, there's a picture of a blanket, a pack of cigarettes, a badminton racket, a little lunch pail, and a waifu pillow in a disgusting, filthy public restroom, which this is what the public restrooms look like in China.
This has got to be something weird. To do this, I know what that smells like. I don't know, dude. The only way I could ever do this is if I was like blind drunk or something.
Okay, you can get drunk first, but like how much would you do it for? You got to stay 1 full night. And it's open to everyone else.
You'd have to take the engine out of my Trans Am for me so I could work on it and then put it back in for me.
Well, what? How does that? Oh, that's like a fee? That's the fee?
Yes, because you can't really put a price on that because it's so much effort. Nobody would ever want to do it.
That's true.
No, you can't even pay people to do that.
No, we don't have a hoist either.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'd have to do major engine work for you.
Which I know you suck at, so maybe just take it out.
Just take it out.
Hire people to take it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hire people to take your engine out, and then you'll stay in here. You would actually do that?
Sure. But I have to be drunk.
That's shocking. I mean, you could die of disease.
I mean, look, I'm not going to make a habit of staying there. Anyway, let's move on because this is just ridiculous. I don't even know where you found this picture.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, guys, please pay attention. There's a white car here. And we want to ask all of you, because this is a bit of an interactive thing.
Yes.
In the live chat or in the comments if you're watching this later, I'd like you to put down what you think, or who you think is driving and what you think's happening here. Okay, so I'll get us out of here so we can actually see it.
I'll read some of the entries.
Okay.
So when he or she hits the third barrier.
Yes.
I want you to pause it, okay?
I will.
So there's a car, if you're listening, there's a car getting out of control. It's headed towards some of these barriers on the side of the road. And it's going pretty slowly. It's probably going 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it rams into the barrier, runs over like a little kind of speed bump things, and it hits and really just...
Pause here. No?
And you can keep going a little bit.
Okay.
Crashes in and knocks over...
Knocked over the little
barrier.
fence.
So the car then finally hits something and comes to a stop. Okay? Smashes into another car.
Yes.
Pause it there. We want to know, why did this happen? That's my question.
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a guy running to come and open the door. Okay.
This is kind of a Bollard report. This should have
been a Bollard report, yeah.
Okay, so this is self-driving, a kid, a cop, 3-year-old driving. Autopilot. Chinese EV autopilot. Oh, that seems to be a pervasive one.
I mean, that would make sense to me.
Self-driving.
That would honestly be my guess.
That'd be your guess.
Let's take a look.
Heart attack, drunk.
Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah, that's
you ready? All right. Let's get out of there.
It was a dog. It was a dog.
It was a little dog.
A little dog was driving. Somehow it got it out of park. It was probably, the controls were probably up here. You know, not like one of those shifter things.
You know what? A lot of new modern cars have got those like electric parking.
Yes.
It's just like a button.
Yes.
You know, and you like.
And it was probably an automatic. You know, an automatic, it'll actually drive at about 5 or 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
By itself.
Or in neutral or something.
Neutral, yeah.
And he probably just put his paw on it and it went off. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that coming, but I certainly didn't.
If you did get that right, or you're impressed by this tactic, please click like on the stream. Help us get more eyes on it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really funny.
Appreciate it.
Hang on a second. Guns are not allowed in China.
You're absolutely right. Now, there are a lot of illegal guns in the border regions, on the drug areas. By the way, you have no idea how much drug trade there is in China. Everyone thinks it's like North Korea or something. By the way, there's a lot of North Korea too, but they think it's like some sort of Puritan society or whatever. Tons of drug use. We saw it everywhere.
Well, it's the propaganda that only America can have drug addicts.
You are true.
Yeah.
Now, this is a man that just really wants to be a law enforcement. You know those people that LARP as cops or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
They wear like
they impersonate
federal booby inspector shirts.
Yeah, something like that.
That kind of stuff.
Well, let's see what happens. What is this? Okay, so it's
a fake gun? Oh, it's a cigarette.
It's a cigarette dispenser with a lighter.
With a lighter built.
I gotta say that's kind of cool.
Pretty cool. I mean, pretty lame.
It's cool though.
But it's cool.
Yeah,
cool for an old man.
It's kind of like a nice trick, but the problem with a trick like that is you can get killed.
Yeah.
Imagine you like pull that out at a restaurant and you want to like, you know, and there's a cop there or something or an overzealous Texan or something. And you're just like, you know, like.
I'll tell you what, China better never invade the U.S. because of overzealous Texans.
I agree.
You better believe you're in for a big problem.
When you spend your entire life waiting for a situation.
Yes.
And that situation arises. Yes.
And you want to face an American prepper, China? I dare you.
I know. I mean, like seriously, they got tons of tinned food to throw at you.
Yes,
you know, baked beans,
probably bazookas. And
yeah,
stuff.
True.
They have treasure troves.
Let's move on. What's going on? They're like eating.
This is a dongbei meal. Yeah. Pause that real quick. I want you to just examine this. Now, I actually did have this vegetable. I had it in a Vietnamese restaurant. Weirdly enough. Weirdly enough, this is in northern China, but they're basically the dishes they have of real food are very sparse.
Yes.
So they're surrounded with this, and you're basically filling up on this stringy vegetable.
Yeah.
Which is just insane, the amount that's there.
Yeah, it's like eating a massive salad, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like stringy.
Yeah.
And kind of like crispy with like
looks like the garnish, but it's actually the main meal.
Yeah, because look at there's barely any food on the table.
It's kind of interesting.
That guy's kind of like Chinese oxys. Oh, jump scares. Pause this. Can you go to the beginning of that clip?
I mean, sure. I'm just curious.
This is disturbing because of what we're actually going to talk about kidnapping.
Yeah. This is not, though.
No, I want you guys to guess what this is because we don't know.
Yeah, we actually don't know.
We actually legitimately don't know. This scares the absolute hell out of me.
Looks like it's in a kindergarten or something. It's probably a little play.
That's what makes this worse.
Because look, they've got all the toys in the background. So this is probably they're doing a play or, this is ancient Chinese trash bag opera.
Yeah, I was about to say, my favorite play was when I was a kid. We did a rock and roll version of, was it Grease or something? When I was in kindergarten, and we had to paint our own guitars and whatever.
Okay.
But it was like dinosaurs. Like we had to be dinosaurs in Greece.
Okay.
My second favorite was Garbage Bag Kids. You take kids and you put them in garbage bags and then put masks on. What the hell is this?
It's kind of crazy.
Is it like Guess the Kid game? Like, is this mine?
I don't know.
When
maybe
you pick
it's
up
like
your kids?
hey doll, like or something like that. Guys, all right. We just thought we'd fill you in with a couple of interesting things, but now we got to get into something a bit serious. I again would like the audience to guess. Here's a little bridge. Let's take a look at this bridge behind us, and please guess when this bridge was constructed. Okay?
I'll wait for some chat.
Okay.
I just have there's some very cursed comments like, it's trash day, and in China, they get rid of little
Oh,
girls.
yeah, of course.
It's bad. No, it's bad.
No.
It is sad what happens to little girls in China, though. They get aborted way more than boys.
For sure. All right, guys, please take a look at this bridge. When do you think it was constructed? Was it,
2024, 2020, last Tuesday, 2010, 1 month, last year, 50 years ago, 2015. 1976.
Come on, guys, this is pretty bad. Look at it. It's cracking apart.
That's shocking. Can you guys be realistic in your guess?
Yeah. Come on, let's be realistic here.
I'm going to pause it 50s. I'm going to guess 50s. It looks like China 50s construction.
Yeah, see how it's like falling apart? You can see the rebar in there. It's really falling apart.
Right.
It's
80s is more realistic.
Yeah. Anyway, we got our volume up. All right. So, you guys have guessed the age of this bridge. 2018. 2018.
Wow.
That's
Can
not.
you prove it?
Yeah.
8年才造的桥，你看看，河南道龙公路。
It says on the plaque.
Yes, it does.
On that
It
plaque
says-
right there.
It says 2018年. Yep, you're right. 2018.
2018, and it looks like that. The shabby condition, the absolute state of that bridge.
工程有限公司，看看这个桥边上这个护栏的质量，这个估计是人家撞掉的哈，但是没撞也是这个样子的，
Come get China to do your infrastructure projects.
真的是垃圾工程啊！
Yeah.
Tongue times. Living in the future.
Yeah, so we're doing a follow-up. Last week we told you about the tragedy in Thailand, where the only high-rise building that collapsed during the earthquake was the Chinese Belt and Road one, which had already been topped off. So the actual construction
It was capped.
It was capped. It was completed. Obviously, not the sides and the glass and all the furnishings.
Just to remind everyone, it was built to be a bragging piece for the Chinese government for the Belt and Road Initiative about how they can build earthquake-proof structures.
Yes, that's
And
part
it
of
was the only one.
Yeah, so we're actually going to show you here. Okay, so this is Chinese propaganda, Chinese
damning.
performance.
Very
China's performance and China's final result.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a more updated picture of what it looked like. You can see the mess of steel and concrete.
And the rubber rebar.
Exactly, yeah. We weren't kidding about the rebar because it turns out it wasn't very good quality. Anyway, found this propaganda video. We can take a quick look.
Turn it down so it doesn't get copyright.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So anyway, this was a propaganda video showing like how fast.
This is that building.
It is that building. How great the progress and how quick they
China's
can
going
do
to
it.
develop Thailand, Poor Thailand. China will come in and help.
Yes, exactly. We showed you this picture last time, but this is part of it, Now, there's an article bragging about this on the Chinese internet, okay, on this official website here, and it's showing everything about this building. You can see the propaganda photos. They go in depth about how this is such an incredibly good building and how it is good for withstanding seismic activity, and that's one of its strong suits, is that it's good at dealing with earthquakes, better than what Thailand has, in general. This technology is so good, it's so great. Exactly. As you can see, what do you think happens to articles like this when disaster strikes?
They're put on the news and they say, look, we found the problem. It was a corrupt, bad government policy.
No, the article was just deleted.
Yeah.
And if you try to go to it now, luckily, somebody archived the article. That's why I could find it still.
Excellent.
And the person who originally found the article archived it immediately, luckily, because it would have just disappeared.
I recommend people usually do that. If you see something that you think is going to go away from the Chinese government, archive it.
So that article that was bragging about how it's going to be like much better at withstanding earthquakes and so on, suddenly just disappeared because, of course, it was proven wrong. And that's always what happens with the Chinese propaganda, is that they promise these things. Oh, we're so good at our green technology. Look at our solar panels, our this or that. Everything is always like, we're so amazing. And because most of the time it's within the borders of China.
Yeah.
So you don't see the failures, right?
Yep.
And if it does fail, they just quietly get rid of it.
Yep.
But now it happened abroad.
Yep.
And it's impossible for them to cover it up. Right?
Yes.
But what they're doing is their normal tactic.
They're trying.
Their normal tactic of just removing
I'll tell you
websites.
what, this got massive backlash when we put it out. And actually, a bunch of people have covered this, Thai people and stuff too. Obviously, it's in Thailand.
Yeah.
Huge backlash from the Wu Mao Ba army trying to be like, this is lie. You are lie.
Yeah.
You are liar.
Yes, exactly. By the way, we have a clearer footage of what happened. I thought I'd show everybody. I'll take the volume down. We don't need to hear it very much. But you can see it's much clearer. You can see the top of the building. It was capped off. Everything's finished.
It's done.
And it's done. They're just putting the glass cladding and all that kind of stuff on. The actual structure of the building is finished. And it's been finished long enough for the concrete to cure and harden and all that stuff. There's no excuses.
No.
All right? Because a lot of people were making excuses, but there are no excuses. And, like that guy got inside. So now the interesting thing is the very next day, some people filmed some Chinese nationals. They hopped over the fence. They went into this area because now, listen, it's a disaster zone, right?
Yeah.
And by law, you're not allowed to enter the disaster zone.
It's got to be investigated and cleared.
Yes, and it's a danger.
Yeah.
And they filmed these Chinese nationals going in and stealing files.
Basically spies.
Yeah, well, I mean, they obviously worked for the company.
And they mobilized people to go get stuff they shouldn't
So
get.
they went and they grabbed all the files that were there on site, like in an office or whatever, and they put them in the back of a pickup truck and drove away. So they're basically making sure to get rid of the evidence.
So these Thai dudes were like, screw that.
Yeah, so
we're going to document this.
Exactly. Some Thai journalists actually filmed them. You can see they sped away in their Hilux. Which, they're not very careful about what they're doing, are they? Like dropping the files everywhere.
Rush, right?
Yeah,
and
this is like, it's kind of like when people are trying to shred the documents before the IRS arrives, you know?
Exactly.
It's that kind of thing.
No, better example.
What?
The Houston Chinese embassy.
When they were burning all the
everything.
documents, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, first of all, it was illegal for them to do this because you're not allowed to enter the site. But also, trying to hide evidence like this is not a good look for China.
It's crazy how they have to knee-jerk everything because they do everything so poorly and they only react when something bad happens.
Yes.
Right? Like this. They didn't expect this to fall down.
No.
They're like, no, there won't be a big enough earthquake in Thailand where our bad building quality, where we clearly cut corners and killed people.
Yes.
They're murderers.
Yes.
Right? The people that took the money, right, to cut corners on the concrete and the rebar and all this stuff because they found, like you said, the rebar quality was too low. To do this abroad in another country, they're murderers. Yeah. You should be tried for murder.
Well, I mean, like some of the Thai workers that were working on that building alongside with the Chinese workers and the Chinese construction people there were saying like the supports looked much smaller than they should be.
They knew.
Yeah, they were like
knew.
even one of the Thai guys went and measured them and he was like, this is way too small. There were no safety regulations. Workers were up there in sneakers and not wearing safety harnesses and stuff. The usual type thing because there's so many corners are cut.
Yeah.
Anyway, they arrested 4 of these guys. Right. So they're in custody, and who knows what's going to happen with that. But apparently the office of the company that actually built this thing is abandoned at the moment. No one's answering the phone, and it looks like pretty much everybody involved has run away to China.
And this is tied to the Chinese government, right?
Yes,
yeah, right.
As you're going to see in a minute. And it's tied to something else, which no one seems to be talking about. But anyway, the Thai Inquirer put this out. They said Industry Minister Akanat Promfan, I have no idea how to say it, right, expressed shock after inspecting the steel used in the collapsed building. He noted irregularities but did not provide further details. The ministry has collected 6 different types of steel for further inspection, mostly from one producer. And by the way, the producer that put out the steel is a Chinese producer, of course, and it's been tied to other corrupt activities and other quality control issues where they have been falsifying what they're putting out and so on. So it's the typical thing.
Maybe Thailand will have to wake up to China's influence.
Yes.
These countries find out way too late.
I mean, China is the land of shortcuts and facades. And I mean, here it is out on display for everybody to see. And it's not within the borders of China, so they can't hide it.
I just can't believe that people, what's it called? Make excuses for the Chinese government when this kind of stuff happens.
By the way, does anybody remember this?
Yes. Serbia.
This is Serbia. The Novi Sad train station.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Collapsed.
Yeah, a massive big awning, collapsed. All right. And this was, they basically refurbished it and they built this big new canopy, right, in Serbia. It collapsed end of last year, and killed 16 people.
In fact, there have been tens of thousands of people protesting in Serbia against this. It was a huge protest because Serbia now belongs to China. In fact, I just did a ranking of countries you shouldn't go to if China doesn't like you.
Yes.
If you said something bad. Serbia is almost at the bottom there because Serbia now has accepted so many projects from China that they're basically beholden to them. In fact, they have a joint police force now.
That's insane.
So the Chinese police remember we talked about Chinese secret police stations?
Yes.
They just have public ones
Yes,
there, right?
yes.
They're actually walking side by side with Serbian cops. And the Serbians are furious. They didn't want this to happen. They don't like the Chinese government.
No.
Serbians have reached out to us countless times now. They're some of the most passionate people we met.
Yep.
And they're like, I can't believe what's happening to my country. It's overtaken by China. And so these people were furious about this when this happened. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I mean, there's something else that you're going to have to know about this, okay? First of all, the Chinese company refused to check stability when they just poured extra concrete. They didn't do it to the right specs. They just didn't pay attention to safety standards, which is kind of normal.
Yep.
But I'd like you to pay attention to something. The Chinese company, which is the China Railway International Corporation, is a subsidiary of the China Railway Group Limited.
Good find.
So you know how a
dude. Good
subsidiary
find.
works, right?
Yeah.
You've got your main company, the China Railway Group Limited, and this is one of their offshoots, basically, their subsidiary.
And the Chinese government has a golden share in the Chinese railway group.
Absolutely. I mean, what's happened is the China Railway Group has been in charge of a lot of construction projects within China, but now they've kind of run out. So they're scrambling for projects all over the world, and they're doing these BRI things.
They've done stuff in Africa.
Yes, of course. This is the main sort of BRI builder. So let's look at the skyscraper that collapsed in Thailand. Guess what? It was built and topped by the China Railway No. 10 Engineering Group, which is also a subsidiary of the China Railway Group.
Is it a subsidiary
Limited.
or is it under supervision?
Subsidiary.
Oh, interesting.
If you go look. So what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with the same company
Yeah, good find.
going around the world, completely different parts of the world here,
Yeah,
you
true.
know?
True. Europe and Asia.
killing people because their crappy construction falls. Stop trusting China to build your infrastructure.
It's ridiculous.
Okay?
To even consider it's insane.
I mean, here's the thing. If that earthquake hadn't happened, it would have gone ahead. The building would have been good enough to stand with substandard rebar in it, substandard concrete, substandard safety measures, all that kind of stuff, right? Because corners are cut. And look, to be fair, when it comes to these projects, when it's down on paper, there's nothing wrong with the designs.
No.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with
No.
the proposals. If they say, we're going to build it to this spec and all that kind of stuff, that's all good. The problem is when you've got a Chinese company that's constructing it, shortcuts are going to happen. And unless you're there 24/7, eagle-eyeing every single thing and not willing to take a kickback, it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to use Snickers bars as rebar.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have a foreman or you're going to have a manager who's taking a kickback, who puts in like
In China, you'll
substandard
have
stuff.
a three-man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
Cut
totally.
corners. You lose one of the
Sure.
men.
Yeah, that's a good way to say. Anyway, what I'm saying is you cannot trust the quality. There's no proper quality control with Chinese construction.
David has a great point here. David
What's that?
Lepan says it's a national security issue.
Yeah.
It is. Like, and I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about any country.
Yes.
Right? America's not doing BRI projects. But
Yeah.
if your country, and let's say you're in Hungary or these countries that are courting China at the moment, Greece, you gotta be vocal about this.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your country's infrastructure to be built where 2 years later it collapses and kills people.
Well, that's what I was trying to say is like if the earthquake hadn't happened, it would have been completed. You
wouldn't know.
Okay? And it would have had all the cladding on it. It would have looked all nice. It was a government building, by the way, so you would have had big parts of the Thai government in this building. You would have had a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
It would have been packed to the brim with visitors and office workers and who knows what else. And then when the earthquake hits, everyone would have died.
I'm still having a hard time justifying how people are defending this government.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's
when
crazy.
faced with reality, right? They'd rather hide for them.
The Belt and Road Initiative is this disgusting...
It's imperialism, dude.
Yes, but they put such poor quality infrastructure.
It's bad imperialism. It's like
Yes.
the worst kind of imperialism.
If you go to...
It's Timu imperialism.
Yeah, if you go around the world where there are old colonies from European colonies,
Sure.
you'll find old buildings that still stand. You'll find
Bro,
railway tracks that still work.
There's old stuff
from hundreds
in
of years ago.
poor countries that are
Yeah,
still standing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
try go in 100 years to any of these places where China set up anything.
That's what I was talking to you. I don't want to dwell, but like we were talking about this the other day, like that Xiong'an new district they're building, right? It's supposed to be done in like 2030 something, 2035, 2039.
Yeah.
Why are you building structures in there right now? Because they will rot in 2 or 3 years.
Correct.
Like you shouldn't be building anything right now in China that nobody's living in because it's not going to exist anymore.
No.
It literally crumbles.
Yeah, it will. Anyway, just wanted to say that those two incidents are connected. And I don't know why more people aren't pointing this out. The fact that train station collapse that killed 16 people in Serbia, and this Thai building collapse, which also killed people, by the way. We don't know
how many yet.
the full extent because we don't know the numbers. They're still actively doing rescue operations.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's still some signs of life. I don't know.
Yeah, and prayers for the people that are affected. This is
exactly.
rough.
It's the same. You're dealing with the same situation. So if you're going to go and employ them to do stuff in your country, you're an idiot. You know?
Agreed.
Anyway, it's time for a word. We have a word.
Just like people declutter their homes in March, it's also a great time to refresh your nutrition and daily habits. Feeling refreshed and ready starts in your gut. And the pre and probiotics in AG1 helps support digestion. It does help support digestion. Can vouch for that. In fact, as soon as I started drinking AG1, I felt a difference in my body, my energy levels, and in my digestion. And it's only gotten better ever since. We both have noticed fantastic results in drinking AG1. We love it. It's one of the easiest, quickest things you can do for your nutrition to cover all of your vitamin and mineral goals for that day. It's one of the easiest things you can do. It's affordable. It's why not invest in your own health?
Tastes good.
Tastes good too.
Becomes a part of your routine, just like drinking a coffee in the morning.
For sure. Absolutely.
Have this and a coffee.
Yes. Or just the AG1 if you don't drink coffee. And guess what? You'd be better off for it.
Probably, yeah.
Yes. And you know what's cool is have an AG1 buddy. So you have keep yourself accountable. It's not hard to drink AG1, right? But like you drinking it reminds me to drink it. Me drinking it reminds you to drink it, right?
Just keep it in the office in the little cabinet over there. And,
Absolutely.
Stir it in with water. It's really easy to go.
It's absolutely fantastic. So when it comes to my health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I chose AG1. With science-backed ingredients and real benefits I can feel, AG1 makes it easy to support overall wellness every day, and that's why we've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/ADV to get this offer. That's drinkag1.com/ADV to start your new year on a healthier note.
Fantastic. Thank you, AG1. And now back to the show. All right. What on earth are we looking at here?
It's beautiful. This has been going around in China. People, it was removed, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course it was removed.
Why?
You're not allowed to make fun of dear leaders in China.
But you have to explain who this is. You probably don't recognize him. He's too pretty.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, we have to explain that in China right now, using a beauty filter is not only a choice of 99.9% of people, it's built into every phone by default.
Yes, and if you didn't use one, you would be a pariah.
Yeah, it'd be something strange.
Strange.
You know, when people take photos now, they use Meitu. It's called Meitu Xiuxiu, where they fix their pictures. But it's like I said, it's built into most apps and even the phone camera itself. So they take a picture, it puts on a beauty filter. But unfortunately, in this situation, there's this statue that they built in the background of Mao Zedong, believe it or not.
That's literally Mao.
And it beautified the statue alongside the people in the picture.
I like how it also made their heads very tiny. Look at the grandpa's head.
Yeah,
what's going on? You know the Goombas in the real life Mario movie?
Yes, that's it. Exactly.
The poor guy probably looks completely normal in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
He got beauty.
Anyway, we wanted, for a long time, we've wanted to talk about this statue because it's the most absurd thing you've ever seen in your life.
You know what it is? It's this.
Yeah, it's like a dude at a gym bro in the mirror taking a photo, but it's flexing real hard. And then,
it's Beethoven.
It basically looks like Beethoven.
It does.
Okay? And people go wild over this statue.
Yeah.
People go there and take photos, and it's supposed to be Mao Zedong in his youth.
That's not what he looked like.
No, he looks nothing like that.
No.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? We have some pictures of what Mao Zedong actually looked like. This is what he looked like.
Yeah, these are real photos.
Yes, these are real. We didn't manipulate
just scroll
them.
back to that super quick.
Yeah.
So like now this is real.
Yeah, and like this is when he was a bit younger, okay? Because I'm sure you all know the pictures of him, like
when he's
he's
old,
kind of
smoking
ate all
cigarettes.
his pork fat, because that's what he used to just subsist on, his pork fat. You know, the chubby sort of like, you know, chairman.
Jovial. He looked better when he was like,
you know the fat Mao that everyone's used to, right?
Ho ho ho!
Yeah.
I killed 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Tens of millions of
I'm a
people.
pedophile that murder people, but you know, here I am, that guy. But this is what he looked like when he was a bit younger, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, let's go back to this. How does this windswept Beethoven-looking statue look anything like Mao in any of his incarnations?
He
Okay? Doesn't look like him when he was a chubby murderer.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like him when he was a stringy murderer.
Yeah.
It's nothing like he ever was at all.
One of the worst men to have ever have lived.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so we thought, well, you know,
It's kind of like what?
it's kind of like if you took Steve Buscemi and you made a statue of him and it looked like the statue of David.
It would.
Because that is quite literally what you're seeing happen in front of your eyes.
It's very true.
Is reinventing the way someone looks. Okay.
Kind of like this.
Yes.
We've talked about this. I just want to remind everyone how crazy the Mao cult goes in China. Because, like, he did no wrong, right?
Yes,
in China,
yes.
he's like the savior of China, even though he killed like 70 million people.
Yeah.
Of their own people, by the way.
Yes.
And on purpose, too.
He killed more Chinese people than the Japanese people ever did.
by leaps and bounds.
Yes. He killed more people than the war ever killed.
Oh, yeah. It's the worst mass murder in history.
Yes.
Period.
Absolute terrible tyrant, yeah.
And it's not just because of bad policies. He literally knew that the Chinese people would starve if they exported their grain. They exported their grain because they didn't want to look bad in front of the Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah. He's very, very well known for saying he doesn't care if half the population of
Yes.
China dies.
Yeah.
Even all this, what's his famous saying, like, half of the people should starve so the other half can eat?
Yes. So they made this
Okay.
golden statue in the middle of the countryside in China. By the way, the sky don't lie, does it?
No.
Yeah.
This is from quite a while ago. This is, what, 10, 15 years ago?
Something like that.
But some farmers...
It's a good memory.
Yeah, some farmers, they all got together. They built this massive statue of Mao, and guess what? The government told them to take it down. They had to
Why?
demolish it.
Why?
Because they didn't get permission and you're not allowed to do it.
Actually, on the CCP report, it says because it was too ugly.
Yes, that's right.
It made Mao look too ugly.
That's right. Because apparently you got to make Mao look like Beethoven.
You got to make him not look like he's taking a shit. Because that's toilet Mao,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah, it is.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, do you guys remember this? This is very relevant.
Yes, let me get the volume up for this.
So, a couple years ago, an 8-year-old boy was he 8?
Yeah, I think he was 8.
8-year-old boy got arrested for smacking
okay.
a Mao statue and then filming it.
Yeah,
This is our clip when we covered it.
Okay, let's take a look. There's a statue of Chairman Mao.
哟，这么毛泽东啊！我扇你一巴掌，我扇，我扇，我再扇，我再扇你一巴掌！哎，我扇，我再扇，我扇，
support
我
this.
扇
Me
你。
too. Okay, wait.
I mean, it's funny and so effed up
Yeah.
at the same time.
Well, let's go back, because I like how he starts like, yo, isn't that Mao Zedong? You know what I mean? He's like, yeah.
哟，这么毛泽东啊！我扇你一巴掌，我扇，
Yeah.
我再扇，我再扇你一巴掌！哎，我扇，我再扇，我扇，我扇你。
Yeah. So yeah, he got because he's a minor. He wasn't actually put into custody, but he was reprimanded because it
And they captured
that constitutes defamation of a national leader.
Also, he will have a pockmark, a black
Oh,
mark
of course,
for
and
the
his-
rest of his life.
His
on
whole
record.
family is going to be very badly affected by this, unfortunately.
Okay, pause this. So this is going around.
Yeah.
And this appears to be retribution for the boy.
I think this is probably the best retribution for that boy.
Yes, and I guarantee you it's directly related to this because of what happens in this video. You'll see the slap, but
Oh.
it's oh so much better.
I haven't seen this yet.
You got to see this.
Okay, all right.
This is
I'll get us out of here.
You're going to want a little sound.
Okay. I got some sound.
Justice for the 8-year-old boy
Yes.
that was arrested for slapping a Mao statue
I know, it's ridiculous, right?
and then put on the news.
Yeah. I like that. Long live democracy. Man, whoever
Means
put
you
this
want
together,
to-
I want to know this person.
This is This is good. I like where this is going.
Me
you like
too.
where this is going?
I like where this is going a
I
lot.
have seen this.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Well, I put it in
Let's take a
I
look.
put it in the media pack.
Alrighty. Suspense. Come on, what's going on here? Windage? Whoa! What happened there? That's a bit excessive.
I know, I thought it was
Hang on a
just gonna-
second. What the?
I thought it was just gonna be a bullet.
What the? Yeah, what happened there?
Well, what I did was,
Yeah?
because I wanted you to have some suspense.
Okay.
I have the making of video.
Oh.
Before this.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
I mean, after this. Sorry.
Okay.
You'll get to see, but watch this.
Dude, that reminds me of the Warren Niemendenia.
I know. Can you play that?
Yeah,
Isn't that perfect? It's a
absolutely.
combo.
Yeah.
When I saw that
It's-
video, I was like,
It's
like,
almost exactly the
it is.
same.
It's like Revenge for
Yes.
Mao Slap Kid.
Yes.
And No You.
Yes.
It's like a
Oh,
combo.
That's excellent. Wow.
That's the most American thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll
absolutely.
show you how it was done.
All right.
So the guy, I assume it's a guy. He looks relatively burly.
Hey, don't judge these days.
Okay, this is very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Judging from the arms.
Okay.
I know we shouldn't do that in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
Judging from the arms, this guy put tannerite. You know
Yeah.
that for target practice? So you use tannerite to like make a target blow up so you can actually see
Okay.
what, if you hit it from far away.
All right.
So he put it in. Look how much he managed to get into the statue.
Where do you even buy a statue like that?
I actually don't know. Probably found an antique shop or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And look at how much he managed to jam in there because it's hollow.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he
just like Mao's
managed to-
head.
He managed to get a lot of tannerite in there. And for non-Americans, it's basically this stuff you can buy anywhere.
Okay.
And you can use it to make targets, so you can actually see them.
Well, that explains why it exploded like that. Because I
Yeah.
was like,
I mean, when I first saw this, I was so... Pause it there. I was
Mm-hmm.
so excited because I was like, it's going to be fun just to shoot the Mao statue, but I hope they got the camera close enough to it
Yeah.
to actually see it break.
yeah.
And you must be a pretty good shot to shoot from that far away. But holy crap, I didn't expect such an explosion.
Yeah. I thought he was using like an explosive round or something, but now it makes total sense.
Yes.
That's epic.
Anyway, I thought that was great revenge for
Yes.
Mao Slap Boy and No You. It's like it's just the
It's
ground.
insane.
That's God bless America.
Oh, absolutely.
God bless America.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Anyway,
And finally, revenge for the little boy who was literally handcuffed and berated for slapping a statue.
yes, and thank you for the people that put me onto this video. It's the greatest thing I've seen, probably in 2020.
That has literally made my year.
Yes.
You know, we need things to uplift our spirits these
We
days,
do.
and
You
this
lift
is
my
one of them.
spirits.
That's great. Okay, time for Beyond the Great Firewall, guys.
This is where I take you inside the Chinese firewall to explain what's going viral in China.
Mm-hmm.
And today there was a very interesting, well, it was a couple days ago,
Mm-hmm.
a very interesting post. And what happened was this girl, she was trying to get a job, okay? And I
Yeah.
have a little blurb here.
What you're seeing here is a translation of her post, which was all in Chinese.
yeah,
by the
because
way.
I'll have to.
We just
I'll
ran
actually-
it. We ran it through Google Translate, so you guys can.
So you
also
can read it, yeah. But I have a little blurb here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to actually read the blurb. I'll just explain it. So she was trying to get a job, okay?
Yeah, like a milk tea shop.
Yeah, like a boba shop, right?
Yes. But the important thing is that she just returned from studying in France.
Yes.
So she was in France
With a graduate degree, I believe.
studying in university. She graduated. She got a degree.
Mm-hmm.
She came back to China to look for work.
Yeah.
And she tried to apply for a milk tea job, which is like a entry level, low end, there you are mixing the bubble tea type job, because jobs are scarce.
They are.
The worst part is what?
The worst part is that she didn't. I'll show you. You can go back. There was the rejection letter. Was that she got this letter? It says, "Hello, you performed very well in the interview for our student employment Chongqing position, but you did not quite meet the requirements of this position. Although the result may not be the most satisfactory, you do not need to be discouraged. This does not mean failure. Just work hard and don't worry about the future. We have included your resume in our talent pool. This was literally to get a minimum wage boba shop job.
Yes.
And she was a foreign educated, French speaking
with a degree.
Graduate degree holder.
Yeah.
This is the situation in China.
The worst part is that over 100 university, when she went for her interview, over 100 university graduates also applied for the same job, came to the same interview.
Yes.
Over 100.
Over 100.
So we're talking about highly qualified people. Now, you have to understand how bad it is because especially in the past, if you went to study abroad and you got a degree abroad in China and you came back, that meant you'd get a better job.
Yes.
That meant you'd absolutely be able to walk into a good job because they wanted the foreign education, the experience, you know? Nowadays, no. And it's not because China is suddenly like China is better or something. It's because there are no jobs for anyone. It doesn't matter if you graduate from a Chinese university or come back from abroad. You're still all fighting for that one position in a milk tea shop.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so the comments say, what's the matter? I'm a top 50 overseas graduate student, and I go to McDonald's, and they're like, don't scare me.
Yeah.
Because the unemployment situation in China is insane.
Yeah. But the fact that over 100 people turned up for that one interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, what's going on here?
Well, let's see.
Okay. There's this, I got to say, this is very cool. There's a special way of making popcorn in China. But
it's pressurized. It's very dangerous. Kind of like, it's actually way more dangerous than the shooting the Mao thing.
Yeah.
Because this is a very archaic method. You pour popcorn into this pressure cooker and you just heat it up over a flame. This is a successful way to do it. But recently, people in China have been putting together videos of them failing. And you can imagine how bad that
Well, we
can
wanted
be.
to show you.
But what I did was I edited it in a way that it's like failures getting worse and worse and worse to the point where these are homemade weapons.
Yes.
These are just homemade weapons.
Let's take a look, guys. I'm curious. Let it finish. Boom. Okay, and then you get...
Too loud.
Okay, hang on a second. Where is my friggin' mouse cursor? There it is. Sorry about that. Okay. I wanted to ask this question. Who do you think introduced this to China?
I don't know.
Because, you know, when I was in China, I automatically thought, whoa, this is cool. This is a China thing, right? And it is a China thing, this kind of making popcorn. But corn isn't from China.
No, it's New World Foods from the US, from the Americas.
Yes. Let's take a look. I just wanted to quickly pause it so you guys could see. See the popcorn? See, the bag just immediately fills with all the popcorn. It basically
It's very cool. I see it all
instantly blasts out into, if you go to any kind of like a fair or, you know, like when they're having some kind of event on the street and street food, you'll have one of these dudes usually. And it's pretty cool.
But I did these in order of how horrible and dangerous these weapons become.
Yes. Wait, hang on.
Us out of
hang on.
there.
Yeah, I
You gotta
got.
see the frog
I'm going to rewind because we're blocking too much of this
let's
view.
just get out of it.
Why do I keep going too far back? All right, I'm going to start fresh with us without us in there. Here we go. All right, let's do it.
Talk over it.
Yeah.
Just keep it low. I mean, these explosions are very loud, dude.
I'm sorry. Was that loud?
It was.
I'll take it.
I mean, it just needs to be background noise.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
So this is like a mild failure. You could die.
Yeah.
This guy.
I love how the frog just
over.
got his
And
clothes
his shirt
came off. Yeah, that's awesome.
Again, these get worse.
Okay. Ouch! You gotta watch out, man.
You gotta watch out. Look at this. It's like pump. This thing's under so much pressure.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bomb.
Yep.
They're just trying to make some hot corn.
It's a cannon, really.
It's a cannon.
Yeah.
Look at it. It goes,
Yeah.
I mean, enough to throw you.
Yeah.
And they get drastically worse.
Okay. I'm a bit concerned.
No, don't worry. I mean, there are worse ones out there.
Okay.
But this isn't
Oh
live
yeah. Okay.
geek.
All right. Good.
We're the China show, not.
Yeah.
No.
Wait. What? Is she okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't stand on that
Yeah. No
side.
kidding. These people keep standing in front of and behind it.
Yeah. It's so silly. This dude. What's he doing? Okay. Well, he took a dive.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
This guy is still, he's on the side, but he's being a little reckless here. Oh, and he fell
You think he's been
down.
drinking?
I think he's been
I
drinking.
think he's been drinking. This dude's like,
This guy is. That thing went flying.
Yeah, who knows
dude.
where it ended up.
They stand up to these forced demolition people.
Yeah.
They need to start using
Yeah,
these
I
instead
agree.
of fireworks.
It's
Got an open flame, pressure.
Yes.
You're gonna die.
He's
using
got this one up against the wall. Maybe not a good idea.
Wall.
Yeah.
This one.
Wait, hang on a second. Okay, wait. What?
I want everyone to very, very, very carefully look
Yes.
at this video, because I swear when I saw this, I was like, this is the most China thing, but it's not filmed in a way to capture this moment. It's just they want to catch the boom.
Yeah.
The most important part of the video is
It's not the boom.
No.
It's the reaction. What on earth did I just see over there? Okay, we got to play that again. Okay, you've got it in slow-mo? Good. Bam. Cool.
Pause. You gotta pause it.
I gotta go back to that.
We gotta examine this and pause it at the right moment.
Yes, okay.
The dog's fine.
I mean,
He's
is
scared.
it though?
He's
Dogs
scared.
do not like that
No,
kind of...
he's scared. But
Yeah.
why is
there a dog pulling a man in a cart?
why is there a dog chariot?
I mean, that's... the freaking hell's going on here?
He's like Santa. Like, what is... But he's just watching. He's sitting... Bro has got a reindeer dog, and he's sitting in front of a cannon.
He's got his dog right in front of the cannon. Does he think it's not going to get spooked? I mean, this is...
Why is he being pulled by a dog?
Yes.
That's the real question.
This is such a China thing.
It really is.
You know what I mean?
Someone would weld together a dog chariot.
Yes. So
And
this
then
dude's
just 'cause
going
they're
around
lazy.
town with his dog dragging him around.
Not even out of disability, just
No.
out of pure laziness.
Exactly, because he's lazy.
Yes.
I mean, come on, guys. This is like...
It's not
Yeah.
a husky, and he's not a sled.
No, exactly. Anyway, that was a good
Dog
catch.
chariot.
All right, let's see what's
This
going
is
to go.
the worst one.
Okay.
And why are they doing this at a kindergarten?
They always do.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just being rhetorical
Yeah.
here.
No,
This guy,
no
he
kids
saw
were
an
hurt.
he
No
saw an
kids were hurt. No
emergency.
kids were hurt.
He saw an emergency. It started.
Did he? I think he was just like, I'm going to open it now.
Dude, watch the explosion.
Okay.
Here comes the corn.
Bam.
Oh.
Well, in a way, I'm kind of glad we can't see what happened to the man. Okay.
He could be fine. We don't know.
Totally
You
fine.
Definitely don't know from that video.
Absolutely fine. He's very far away. Yeah.
He just got tired.
Not the kind of thing I would generally do around kids. Luckily, no kids were harmed.
So stupid.
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, the rate of failure on these things is ridiculously high.
By the way, do you think it tastes any better than normal popcorn?
I had it. I used to see this probably, at least in winter when I lived in northern China, I used to see this at least a couple times a month.
I saw it a lot. I never tried it.
It's the worst popcorn I've ever had in my life. You want to think it's good.
You know what? I think
because of the corn they use.
yes. I think I must have had it because then they give it to you in that little like plastic cup.
You're
thing.
right. Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you why. It's the corn they use because the same guy. So in fall, he would have a big burn barrel, and he'd put coals in the bottom of it, and he would roast corn.
Yeah.
So you'd have roast corn, and then the winter he'd make this explosive popcorn. Same corn. He obviously had a corn family. I was near some corn farms.
Yeah.
And that corn was what we feed in America to cows.
Okay.
Right? It's super chewy. It's almost salty.
Yeah.
It's savory, and it's wildly unappetizing. And especially when you use it to make popcorn, it's got such a hard shell on it that it has that shell that gets in your teeth.
Oh yeah, a lot.
And it's very chewy and flavorless.
Correct, and that's exactly the popcorn I'm used to in China. So I've definitely ate it. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen it a lot, but I didn't go buy from the dude.
Yeah,
type
he was
thing.
right below my apartment.
But I've been in a situation where like someone's given me popcorn.
Yeah,
It was probably from
he
that.
also told me you foreigners also eat our corn.
Yes.
Because he thought I said, you think corn is from China? He said yes.
Well, they also think chili's from China.
It's true.
A lot of people, not everyone,
He's
obviously.
a nice guy. Just
Yeah.
terrible corn. And I asked my Chinese friends. They said they don't like sweet corn. They like that chewy, savory cow corn. I was like, that's wild. That's
Although
seems
you know
like a
what's
wrong
you know what's
opinion.
you know what's very interesting is in at least it's probably changed recently, but when you went to the cinema, you could only get kettle corn. You could only get the
Yes.
sweet corn. You couldn't get buttery corn.
Isn't that weird? So they like the popcorn on the street. They like the savory, chewy crap.
Yeah.
And then the movie theater, you can only get this very hyper processed kettle corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for Soft Power Hour, guys. This is where we tell you how China's trying to change your mind through
Yeah, we'll
various
try to
ways.
Try to speed it up.
Yes. This is tragic.
Yes.
Any idea what's going on here?
Yeah, so I have a location here. I did some research. This is in Zhangzhou, Fujian, which is weird. We covered, remember that pollution episode we did recently?
Yes.
Same district area.
Yes.
Dozens of family members who had kids kidnapped knelt to beg for help in finding their children. This is a huge problem in China, and probably not a problem you want exported to your country. However, while they were doing this, a group of unidentified people wearing masks made a human wall to block people from seeing these parents or the pictures of their kidnapped children.
Yes.
This deepened the public's anger, obviously, and people got very mad. There has been a massive rise in kidnapping of small babies all the way through teenage age.
This is a problem that I've covered on my own channel multiple times. I've made videos about. But kidnapping in China is a huge issue.
It's huge.
Massive issue. But it's hidden. There are actual dedicated websites set up, for people to try and find their children. But even those websites now are neutered because it's a bad look for China.
Yeah.
Human trafficking is huge in China.
Massive.
Kidnapping is very normal. And there's a very easy way to test this because everybody's going on about like, oh, China's so safe, etc. Ask any Chinese parent, if they're willing to sit at a park and let their kid just go play off and not eagle-eye them
not
all
be
the
with
time.
inside,
Yeah. You know, just go play on the swings or whatever without staring at them 24/7.
Any Chinese parents, and you'll get your answer.
Ask any Chinese parent if they're willing to stand outside of a shop, like a supermarket, and ask the kid to go in and buy a bottle of water or something. You know what I'm saying?
Ask him.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Because every single Chinese parent and grandparent knows how dangerous it is. Kidnapping is just crazy in China. Yeah. Anyway, we've got this particular video is from a number of years ago.
It explains it so well, because that one we just showed you is the other day.
Yes.
And they have human shields around this, because this is when it was kind of tolerated to...
Yeah, I mean... The problem is there have been probably 2 or 3 times in modern Chinese history where this issue has been... the awareness has been raised.
Yeah.
Okay? And every time there's such a big outcry and there's such a big outrage about it, the Chinese government realizes this is very bad for its international image, very bad for social stability in China, so they shut it down.
They have to.
Okay? It's awful. So let's take a look.
It.
Yeah. Let's take a look. There's this little documentary.
A silence heavy with sadness at this demonstration by Chinese parents, all trying to find their missing children. Photos on their posters are often long out of date, but they hold on to hope. There are no official statistics, but what numbers exist are shocking. Between 70 and 200,000 children are believed to be stolen in China every year.
Think about that.
I was in my shop. I left my son playing with 2 other children. He was kidnapped by a man. My son was 4 years old.
Police keep a watchful eye in an extremely rare instance of a public demonstration tolerated by Chinese authorities. Wang Mingqing embodies the hopes of these parents because he found his daughter. In 1994, she was kidnapped by a stranger in broad daylight.
Yes, guys, every
For
year.
2 decades, Wang Mingqing put up missing persons posters like these. Previously a fruit seller, he became a taxi driver so that he could look for his daughter while he worked. She wasn't far away.
It took me 24 years to find my daughter, and she was living only 20 kilometers away. 20 kilometers in 24 years. Can you believe that?
Here she is as a teenager, raised in the family of the man who kidnapped her. One day, her grandmother admitted that Qifeng was not her true granddaughter, thus began a long quest to find her real family, in part on these social networks filled with the thousands of faces of children and parents looking for each other. Kidnapping has become a nationwide scourge. 2 years ago, in the middle of the night, a police raid led to the apprehension of a network of traffickers. Some 15 children, boys and girls, were rescued. They were due to be sold, most to parents who have been unable to adopt legally. 70 people were arrested.
Yeah, so
70 to 200,000 children
a year
are kidnapped a year in China.
It's
the population of my hometown is kidnapped every year.
It's a big country.
Yeah.
And it's such a thriving industry because, I mean, as you heard in this, there are plenty of families who cannot legally adopt.
Yes.
Or they cannot have children.
Yeah.
Okay. So they need children because in China, if you don't have a child, you've got no social security. You don't have a child, you have no pension.
Yep.
You don't have a child, when you get old, no one's going to look after you. So you need to have a child. So they kidnap them. Okay.
Unfortunately,
and they buy
there's
them.
way,
but
way
of course,
worse.
that's just the nice side of it. Okay. Because they get sold into.
You guys have heard about organ harvesting and
Yeah,
things like that.
they're sold into sexual slavery. They're sold into, like you said, organ harvesting. There's all these disgusting other things that happen. But I'm telling you one thing, it's disturbing. And it's such a terrible thing that happens in China. And it hasn't slowed down. That whenever the awareness is raised, the Chinese government wants to shut it up.
That's the thing. These Zhangzhou people that were having an outrage because they were getting blocked by the secret police from bringing awareness. They were saying that it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
I guess my issue with this is that there's like a camera for every person in China now.
I mean, look at this gantry up here. Those old
This is
cameras.
just an example,
Those are
right?
not birds. Those are cameras.
Yes, there's no birds in China.
Yeah.
My point
None.
is, if every single part of the country has the ability to stop crime by identifying the perpetrators with facial recognition and all this kind of stuff, tracking, then why has this potentially increased? Why is this problem increasing? And the scary wake-up, cold water on the face moment is when you realize that the government is complicit.
Yeah.
So they'll have these token crackdowns, and yes, there's good cops that do the right thing.
Yes.
The problem is, nationwide, it's such an issue that they want to hide. They don't bring awareness to it. They neuter the websites that used to proliferate and actually help people find their kids.
Yes.
And a lot of the local officials in the CCP are doing it. They're complicit in this. Right.
Well, look, I mean, think about it this way. If you've got a leaky faucet, right, and it's outside, it's a leaky faucet. You either fix it, okay, or you build a little brick wall around it and enclose it so that nobody knows it's there. If nobody knows it's there, it doesn't get fixed.
You're correct.
And that's what happens in China because it's an embarrassment to the CCP that children are not safe and kidnapping is such a big issue. They hide it. And because they hide it, there's no big international outrage. There's no big investigation into it. The spotlight isn't on it. People don't get all riled up about it. It gets left alone and it thrives. Just like that leaky faucet continues to destroy the ground underneath it. Nobody pays attention to it because they can't see it. And if someone notices it and points it out, they get silenced.
You're correct.
There we go.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep.
So it kind of links into what we were going to talk about.
Yes.
Which is just this bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. This is kind of funny, but also bullshit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I want you to take a look at this drone footage.
Just play it.
Yeah. And what do you notice about these buildings? This, by the way, is Guangzhou. I don't know if you know Canton, you know, the capital of Guangdong.
Look at that. Pollution in the sky. It's beautiful. Sky don't lie.
Sky don't lie, yes. You can see the Canton Tower in the background up there if you look closely enough through the haze. What do you notice about these buildings? And then what do you notice about this next set of buildings, which I'm going to show you? This is in Shenzhen, which, of course, is another first-tier city. Look, fancy building, fancy building. That's like the office part of it, but then it goes into residential above, right? So, bam, residential. What do you notice about these buildings?
Look at the windows, guys.
Yeah.
Look at the windows.
What do you notice, guys? I'm sure you're noticing something right now.
Look at those windows.
Anyone
Those
getting it
pure
in the comments there?
decrepit buildings?
I mean-
Caged. Bars.
Yes. I mean, come on. What are you saying decrepit? This is wonderful architecture. This is the peak of,
It's
Chinese
actually the best.
architecture. No, I mean...
No, I mean, like, really, it's in the center of the best city.
This is Shenzhen, okay? Top of the pops.
Yeah, we're talking about the bars on the windows, guys.
Yes. Why do you think you need bars 30 stories up, by the way?
Why? Just
Yes.
take a wild guess. Look at this.
This is in another city very far away.
Yeah, but look at the bars.
Yeah. Take
There's
a look.
bars all over. Not one is missing them.
Yeah.
Every single house
Every
here
balcony, every window.
has bars.
Yeah. Now, if you go downtown Shanghai, where all the shiny skyscrapers are, of course, there are no bars on them, okay?
But 90% of buildings in China have
Yeah, if you go around China, you'll see bars on windows. And the reason is, of course, theft,
Yes.
okay? Theft is a big issue in China. And it happens to people all over the place. And, they'll climb up. That's why also it's all the way at the top. They'll climb up the the side of the building. They'll scale the side of the building to get in there.
Yes.
You're wondering why the 32nd floor has it, because they'll climb that high.
What about the
dude.
22nd floor?
Yeah.
Definitely
Yes.
Chongqing's got bars.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They got bars.
Yes, or they go up to the roof and they'll climb down. You know, one of the two. But they'll Spider-Man into your apartment. They're very skilled at this. A friend of mine lost a huge amount of cash he had stored in his house because of that. Here's some on the ground, on the street view. You can see the bars up on the windows. You know, the
I
bars
always forget
at the
how
gates.
ugly most of China is, but it's a fun place.
Yeah, here you can see from the inside looking out.
The person taking the video is in the bars.
Yes.
Behind bars.
Okay. I mean, take a look. You got bars in the windows. It's very normal. And it's there. They're there because crime is a huge issue. People will steal your stuff. Theft is, you know,
It's outlandish.
it is insane. Theft is a big issue in China.
Yes.
Okay, and the reason why
What are you getting at here?
I'm showing you all of this stuff is one of our favorite propagandists, old Flat Cat McDonald's, recently posted something rather outrageous.
Okay.
Things that only happen in China. I'm just walking in a kind of dark street. There is no one here. And look, a motorbike with a bag right there. But it's not the only one. Look at this. What?
How can someone leave his stuff just like that?
Someone left a bag with a dirty jacket in it, and she thinks it's... Anyway, that's not the end of
It's
it.
a
Hang on.
setup.
Of course it is.
That's
Is
Black Cap
that a
himself.
luggage?
No, dude.
sorry.
She's way too thin. Take a look at the things. Oh, a luggage? By the way, that's how people dump things
Yeah,
in
they get rid
China.
of stuff by
They
doing
put stuff in a
that.
bag and
They
leave.
don't want
It's like gross, rotten stuff over there. Okay, but that's...
No one is around. Oh my god.
People, can I read this?
Please read this. Please read this.
I mean, because this is, and I hope we can capture how crazy this is.
Yes.
Because we lived in China, and anybody that lived in China will literally die of scoff. If you could
Yes.
die of scoff,
Yes.
you'll die. People leave their bags outside and no one takes them in China. Those that show videos of crimes in China are harping on the statistical outliers of Chinese society. They hate China for clicks. Don't buy the hype. I'm sorry. You are regarded if you believe that. And you don't believe that.
You want to talk about statistical outliers? The fact that somebody didn't steal a bag that's got a dirty jacket in it that was left on an e-bike for 5 minutes.
That was a setup.
Which is, yeah.
Very
Set
clever
up or not, it's absurd to think for 1 minute that it's okay to leave your bag on your bike.
China is the last place, perhaps, you would want to go if you're going to leave your stuff out in the open.
Yes.
America, in some of the worst areas, is 10 times better to leave your shit out than China.
Because look, even China's staunchest defenders who are like, you can walk around at night, no one's going to attack you. They're not going to say you can walk around at night and leave your phone on the
You can leave
on
your
the sidewalk.
door unlocked in your
Yes.
apartment and not have bars on your freaking windows. You know, twice my wife had to literally almost kill a person because they were scaling our building.
Yes.
Right? She didn't try to kill him. She got,
Yeah,
get out of here. She's
throwing pot
trying
plants.
to climb in our window.
Yeah.
When I wasn't there. And then another time when I was there, I was running and the guy saw me and he ran off.
I've had bicycles stolen a lot.
Motorcycle stolen?
Yep. You know,
2 phones, 3 phones.
I literally chained my motorcycle. I went to go have lunch with my girlfriend. I just bought her a nice bike and I had a bike, okay? Chained our bikes to like one of those fences, kind of like what you saw knocked over by the dog in a car, one of those fences. Double chained them. We went into the restaurant. We were having a meal. I looked outside. They were gone.
Yeah.
They were just gone.
Dude, how many of our friends lost their motorcycles?
Yes.
How many had their apartments broken in? I had a student that
Pickpocketed?
lived in a rich... I've been pickpocketed multiple times. I've been pickpocketed at knife point. I had a friend, or a student, that their apartment in a very rich area, by the way, not in one of these bad areas, in a rich area of a nice city, had his apartment broken into and his dog stolen for dog meat. They stole his pet dog.
Yeah.
And nobody thought that was weird, by the way.
I was living in the first tier city of Shenzhen. A guy drove in, went through the boom gates because you have to get a ticket to go in, drove his little van down into the parking lot, loaded up all the e-bikes and bicycles, cut the locks, everything, and drove out with it.
Yes.
And it was all on the security camera.
Let's prove it. Because, you know, this is outlandish.
Yes.
This is so crazy.
Exactly.
To me. There are no statistics because China doesn't keep statistics.
Yes.
For crime.
王爷， 这个不能搬，这个是人家盲人。
Okay. She goes up and she's like, Auntie, don't steal these little bits of metal. They're for the blind people when they walk so they know where they're going. You know what she's doing? She's actually stealing the sidewalk. I mean, you know, I was going to say if it's not nailed down, it'll get stolen. But now, if it's nailed down, it will just be pried off and stolen in China.
She's stealing the sidewalk.
She's stealing the sidewalk.
Yes.
And so that she can go and recycle those bits of metal and get like 10 cents for the load. You know what I mean? Take a look at that.
你搬的这个要罚罚的，晓得不？真的不能搬，你遭逮到了要遭了。
Okay.
If theft is not a problem, Mr. Flatcap, and,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you could just leave your
cohorts,
bags
you
out.
can just do whatever you want. It's totally fine, right? Then why are anti-theft posters all over the country? We went through areas that said, this is bandit country. There's propaganda posters. This is bandit country. Do not, your car will be stolen.
Yes.
Lock your car. They had people selling tasers and batons because of the bandits in the area,
Sure.
right? This was not a long time ago. When you go to areas, it says, be very careful. There are lots of pickpockets. There are lots of thieves. This poster says, basement theft protection. Try not to store valuables such as cigarettes and alcohol in your basement. It's recommended to reinforce doors and windows, install monitoring or alarm devices, and check them regularly. If any abnormalities are found, call the police immediately. You don't do this if it's not an issue.
Why do you think every week we show you a video feed of someone's living room?
Yes.
Why do you think we
Why
do
do you
that?
think they do that so they can watch it back later? They do it because thieves.
Yes, because people break in.
China is wildly bad for thieves.
Yes.
Number 2, prevent pick-off car doors.
These have been translated.
Yes. Lock the car when leaving it and check the doors and trunk to make sure no large amount of cash or valuables is left in the car. It's recommended that you install security equipment in the car. If you discover a theft, protect the scene and call the police immediately. Oh, but you can just leave your stuff everywhere, I thought.
Yeah.
Without any... Don't lock it up.
Install anti-theft doors and windows on your shop. Be sure to close doors and windows when you go out. Lock the anti-theft door and install a large padlock. To take your valuables such as cash and laptops home, it is recommended to install
But I
monitoring
thought
alarm
you could just
systems.
leave everything out. No one will take it.
These are the things that you see quite literally on the wall outside, you know, as you're walking around the city.
All over China.
Yes, prevent theft.
It's a big problem.
Yes.
Especially around New Year's.
Oh, big time. Just before Chinese New Year, it's all going to go.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You can get these posters anywhere. There's online scams or real life theft. It's a big issue. In fact, look at this. This is in Xi'an, so a big tourist area, right? Beware of pickpockets. Please keep your value. This is acknowledging pickpockets. I mean, this is a problem you have in usually third world countries.
Oh,
right?
it's like Oliver Twist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
And he's like stealing a pocket watch or something, you know.
Yes,
but like
yes.
actually in China, pickpocketing is a huge issue. I've personally stopped about, I think it's 3 pickpockets.
I've been pickpocketed.
Yeah, I've been pickpocketed once. Something got stolen out of my bag. I had an electronic dictionary because I was learning Chinese and it got nabbed. That was very disappointing. It was very expensive. But quite seriously, walking down the road, see somebody with tweezers in a woman's pocket pulling out her phone. I shouted at
tweezers
him.
very, very common. That was the most common.
It's super common, okay? Its stuff hasn't gone away.
No. In fact, I wanted to prove modern examples.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can show you our experience. We lived there over a decade, right?
Yeah.
But let's show you modern examples.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Flat Cap McDonald's is using one random foreigner who walked around
like a
fresh
setup.
off the boat.
Seems like a
Fresh off the boat. It's like, oh, in China, people leave a bag on an e-bike. That means it's safe only in China.
It seems like a setup. I'll tell you why. I found a TikTok propaganda campaign years ago on my video series. Exactly the same video format. A guy walking around Beijing. Well, here, I know in America you can't leave your stuff up, but here in Beijing, we can leave our stuff on the e-bike. It was exactly the same type
interesting.
of video. I should have put it in here.
Okay.
It's on my channel.
Let's take a look then. Here's another foreigner.
Fortunately, I don't have any more footage. That is because my phone, which I was recording the vlog on, was stolen. This happened in Xi'an the evening after I'd just been to see the Terracotta Warriors. But then once I'd finished eating, I noticed that my phone and charger had both disappeared.
Yeah, so he was explaining, he sat down at a restaurant, he put his phone and charger right next to him, and then he put his backpack next to him as well. And while he was eating, someone reached over, and because they saw the surveillance after, and stole it and ran off.
I want to use modern examples, though.
That is a modern example.
No. Modern. Months ago.
Okay.
That was a couple years ago.
Sure.
Let's go months ago.
That dude's video wasn't a few years ago.
Okay, I have the
Okay,
the
you got a link.
here.
Okay, either way, here we go. Yeah,
If you have a look here, this is 2024-07-24, okay? This is not just security cam footage. This was a news report in a major city in China to show how good people are at stealing people's e-bikes.
and this is another thing that's a little bit interesting, isn't it? The propagandists like Flat Cap McDonald's try to pretend like theft isn't a problem, but state media doesn't.
This is state media.
Yeah.
It took him less than 10 seconds to steal this e-bike.
Yeah.
And the thing is, pause it, they went around and asked people, there were hundreds of people that were like, yeah, I keep getting my e-bike stolen. Yeah, my people broke in. They're like, how do we prevent this big rash of theft?
Here's the thing. Chinese people don't try to pretend theft isn't a problem. There's a big disconnect here.
Yes.
Because Chinese people, doesn't matter if they love China, like they think Xi Jinping is God and they love the CCP and they lick any CCP poster they see, those people will still say that theft is a problem.
Yes.
Those people will still
yeah.
admit that crime, as far as their stuff getting stolen, is a huge issue and you can't just leave stuff lying around.
No, that's such a fantasy.
So all Chinese people acknowledge that theft is an issue.
Yes.
But these stupid foreign
American
white
shills.
people shilling for the Chinese government try to pretend that it's not real.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
Well, it's because that's their job.
Yeah,
Their
but I
job
mean-
is to lie on behalf of the CCP.
Yeah, they're basically saying Chinese people's opinions don't matter, only ours do.
Correct. Only I get to make decisions.
Yeah,
And you
I
know
get
what?
to do
Turns
it.
out those people are always the most racist people to Chinese
Correct.
people. They treat them like garbage.
Oh, yeah,
they
absolutely.
talk down to them. They don't learn the language.
Yep.
You know, it's that type.
Absolutely. Anyway.
This one's hilarious. This
Okay.
guy. This is
Yeah.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
You can just play it. This guy had his helmet stolen, so I just wanted to point out, he left it on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
You can't just leave stuff out. In Beijing, in a main city where there's no crime.
Yeah, yeah.
And this guy stole his helmet and said, "Oh, I saw
he
your helmet
confronted
there."
him, yeah.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, I just didn't want anything bad to happen to
Oh, I
it.
didn't
was
want it to
trying
get
take
damaged,
care
so
of
yeah,
it."
it's like, yeah, whatever.
This is a great example. This
Hangzhou,
is, by the way, yeah, this is this year. This is this year. Hangzhou, one of the wealthiest, most developed cities in China, almost in the center of the city, by the way. Look at this.
Now you know why they put bars all the way up there.
So, Flat Cap, are these the outliers of society? Because I just showed you a main state media broadcast
Yes.
where they interviewed countless people about getting their stuff stolen.
Yes.
Video evidence of people getting their stuff stolen, scaling buildings, climbing in and robbing people.
Yeah.
And every Chinese person I've ever talked to knows that theft is a huge problem in China. So please put it away and stop lying. It's gonna catch up with you someday.
Exactly.
It will.
Yeah. Stop lying about very demonstrably disprovable facts.
At least
You know?
pick something you can't prove.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know?
So here's another dude. Dude pulls up. Oh, this is such a good clip. Can we just play it? Dude pulls up. He's stealing a basket of fruit or whatever. Okay, puts it on his e-bike. He's like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." I don't know if it's okay. Oh no, slippery road. So dropped it all. Oh no, what's going on? Oh no, helmet falls off. Oh man, what's going on? All right. Gonna get my helmet. Bike falls down. I think he's just like, okay, I'm out of here. This is just too much. I'm getting out of here. Car pulls up.
This is my favorite video.
Dude, okay, I gotta play
can
that
we
again.
see that one more time? Just one more time.
It's like a comedy of errors. Okay.
He did everything wrong.
Yeah,
Steve.
exactly. So let's see. Steal.
Okay. Oops. Oh, whoop. Spill. Okay, better pick it up. But I gotta
Dropped your helmet because you didn't. They never
tie.
tie the strap.
No. He goes, I grab my helmet. Drops bike.
Bike falls down. He probably dropped
crap.
whatever else he was carrying. He's like, okay,
He's like, I just gotta
go. Oh, dude, I kind of love that. Isn't that
That's
just
a wet
great?
bandit, dude.
Yeah,
It's a wet bandit.
Yes. By the way, speaking of leaving things on e-bikes, here we have a delivery driver. And these guys have a hard job. I think everybody knows. They're basically heroes in China. Okay? This guy's going to go make his delivery. He's rushing around the city. He's got a tough job. So off he goes to make his delivery. Tired as all hell, been working all day. Some parent in the background tells their kid, go, now, do it. Runs off. Steals the food that he's about to deliver to his next customer and runs off.
Should have at least shut it.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the thing.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, you think you can leave a bag on an e-bike?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's the weakest propaganda. But
That's
it works because it goes
stupid.
around to like hundreds of thousands of people. Big accounts tweet it out.
People see this, they tweet it out, and they're like, China's safe and
America
nobody
bad.
gets stuff stolen.
Yeah.
Lies. Absolute provable lies.
Yes.
Anyway, speaking of that, the Xiaoban Ho that we did this last week, fantastic. It was delivery driver core. Take a look.
They're
It's
so
like, oh,
bad.
you're sweaty and hot from
Yeah, it's like
delivering cheap food,
so
and you
bad.
come on in. You know,
Let's just say no one's jostling one loose when they watch these. You know what I mean? You have to have ASMR. You have to have fixing. You have to have organizing. You have to have a pretty woman. What was it? Just stand in the absolute smog and to dance it out. Oh, and then she goes, "Oh, come here, you know. You want to drink some water?"
pretty accurate.
I'm here on the side of the road, puking in front of my shoe.
Yeah.
Taxi comes and hits me. I got the puking blues. Xiaoban Ho is our live show every
Yes.
Monday. This is the China show. We have Xiaoban Ho. It means after work.
Yes.
Where we go through in-depth topics that you guys vote on, right? And it's fan-freaking-tastic. In fact, we covered delivery driver core, where they're trying to champion these delivery drivers.
But it's degenerated into like weird sexual things.
It's weird.
And so yeah, you probably want to go check it out. It's related to, we just showed you that clip of a kid stealing the meal.
Yeah.
It's a tough job in China, but it's so multifaceted. It's an
is.
interesting and fascinating topic.
Another thing we did in that episode was we did a live thing where we randomly picked people in the chat, and they had to pick which number liquid we need to drink.
Yeah, we had random liquids.
We had a random person take a tray of liquids, bring it to us. We didn't know what was in them, and number them.
Yes.
So you guys picked, and we had to blind
Dude,
drink.
it was weird stuff like
and then we mixed them all.
cooking oil and...
Don't even.
Yeah, I won't... Like,
don't spoil
I
it.
drank some pretty
was-
vile things, I'll tell you.
Half of them were good and half of them were
Yes,
bad.
yes.
So it was like a roulette.
Yeah.
It was actually very nerve-wracking.
It was nerve-wracking. It was fun, though.
Yes. So we have interactive games. One of the last episodes we did was China's fake van life epidemic. This
is the one.
The delivery driver one we
This
just did.
one we just did, yeah.
We put a ton of effort into this content.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's fantastic. We did a beer blind taste test. We pitted Europe versus China versus America to see who was the winner. It's fascinating.
That was a fun episode because we drank a
Very
lot.
funny. And we were a little tipsy.
Yeah.
China's weird and racy homemade soap operas. China, they have these weird blocks on anything racy, but they're trying to find loopholes around it. So we cover these weird soap operas they've been making. Very weird.
Oh, yes.
So that was interesting. This is one of my favorite episodes we recently did call, and the audience as well. They reached out, said this is super fun.
Episode
what China was
139,
like, yeah, what China was like in the 90s. So we got footage of China in the 90s. We explained people's stories that were submitted.
Yeah, we asked our friends and family, what it was like to live in the 90s. We had a lot of material.
We also showed images, and you had to guess whether it was now or in the 90s, and that was really fun.
Yeah, because a
People
lot
were
of
getting
it
stumped.
Yeah, a lot of it you couldn't tell the difference, right?
Yes. But yeah, there's a few different tiers you can get access to. The first tier will get you access to our Discord. The second tier, the half price tier, it's on sale right now. Will get you access to all the Xiaoban Ho episodes we've ever done. It's over 100.
Yep.
You won't be able to watch it live, but it goes directly public to you live.
Immediately after the live's finished, yeah.
But the
Same
incentive
day.
for joining the live at the top tier there, if you can afford it, is that you get to vote on every topic. You're part of the live games that we've been introducing
Yes.
every episode now. So you get to make us do weird stuff. It's kind of degenerating into weird stuff.
It's fun,
but
though.
it's very fun.
Yeah, it's very interactive.
But it's making me nervous.
Yeah, you get a Chinese name.
You get a Chinese name. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is we'll handwrite you a Chinese name if you win it's like a Wheel of Fortune, basically.
Yes.
And we'll handwrite you a Chinese name that
If
we
you want
think
to.
about.
Yeah,
we
you
think
put your
about it.
name down and...
Yeah, if you want to. We think about it over a week and we craft a name for you. You also, again, get to vote on the next topic. So
Yes.
we have a poll every time.
Speaking of the
in
next
live
topic,
Q&A.
on Monday we're going to be covering the insane medical stuff that goes on in China.
Yes.
So, I mean,
It's gonna be a
there's...
good one.
It's, just some absolute bonkers stuff that you wouldn't expect. So, look forward to that
I
one.
would recommend joining.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Get yourself at least locked in the half price one. Consider the live one if you want to be part of the live stuff. And go to patreon.com/ADV Podcast to see it all.
Thank you very much. We'd love to see you there if you have the means. And now time to continue on with Worldview. Guys, we've got to talk about the tariffs. I know this
do.
is the biggest topic on everyone's mind at the moment.
It is, but I wanted to spice things up a little bit.
Okay.
Because there is a weird law that has been enacted, which kind of makes sense. But the U.S. government is banning personnel in China from romantic or sexual relations with Chinese citizens. I'll tell you why. There have been a spat of people that have been compromised by Chinese spies.
Well, it's a honeypot.
It's a honeypot.
The honeypot scams, and it's so common. It's something that the Chinese government absolutely does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
What they do is
just like the Soviets used to do.
Yeah, it's the same deal. What they'll try to do is get diplomats or anyone with any kind of political power or inside information, they get them into compromising positions. So they'll...
Or even relationships.
Yeah. I mean, if the relationship is... Yeah, exactly. Or they'll get them into... They'll be seduced and taken somewhere, and it's videotaped, and then they're blackmailed.
Show it to your wife or whatever.
Exactly. Or, they get them... Find someone who's into some kinky thing, and then, then they blackmail them. Either way, it's a big issue.
Yeah.
It's happened here in the States where Chinese spies have come and done the whole honey trap thing. They've actually tried to honey trap me at one point.
They did. You made a video about it.
Yeah, I did. I made a video about it where they send all these messages, try to get me to go to a hotel somewhere, here in America to try and trap me and so on. I'm like,
who knows what it was?
Yeah.
But like it was leading to
absolutely.
that. Yeah. And you're like, I'm going to document this and make a video. Great content.
Yeah, exactly. And it was good content. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, this is, I'm pretty sure, a law that exists for many countries, not just America.
Yes, I think this is a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
But it's something that people are talking about. And it does look like we're kind of gearing up to have a more serious take on China, because China has kind of run free in America for a long time now.
Yes.
And people are now saying, you know what, this is an issue. Moving on, though.
Yes.
Got a lot of news today. So let's get through it.
Let's do it.
This is just, if you want to talk about a country being unprofessional and being just a little douche.
Dude, okay, all right.
I don't know how to approach this.
What it says in the official China Central TV News, released this on their Weibo. It's like a war thing where they have footage of planes and like, let's blow up Taiwan and stuff. And then they put the characters, vaginal penetration is what it says. If you want to,
The Chinese government on CCTV...
We're going to F you, basically.
...wrote vaginal penetration, but like, more crass, actually. It says enter pussy. It is what it says.
Come on.
And then over a map of Taiwan.
That is the Chinese state media put that out. Okay? I know we're living in a bit of a crazy world right now where politicians these days are kind of childish, but this is China's usual level of childishness.
This is just nuts, though. Can we rein it in a little bit, guys, China? Let's be a little more professional. I know you're trying to invade Taiwan, a sovereign country, but can we rein it in a little bit? Can we not say enter pussy?
Yeah, stop being such stupid little immature twats.
I know, and I'm singing it to Enter Sandman in my head. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
But yeah, and they put their, these are the war plans and stuff. They have been pushing Taiwan.
They've been pushing this stuff.
In fact, it's been kind of interesting. I just wanted to it's not a movie poster, guys.
No.
This is really what state media put out.
Yeah, Chinese state put this out.
I just can't believe it. Can't believe it.
This is the kind of thing they're putting out daily, by the way. And every day they've got a different quote. So that was just one of the quotes. Right?
It's basically like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, take a look. These are the quotes. The yellow one is that one.
Yes.
Either way, they can go F themselves. They suck.
It's just so immature and bad, and they're really, really ramping up. But everyone wants to talk about tariffs, right?
Yes, obviously, because everyone's affected by them.
Yes.
In one way or the other.
No matter what approach you take, you say this is some 8D chess, this is incredible, this is all going to work out, or you say this is the worst thing that's ever happened, look at the stock market. I don't care what you think about that, because what I can tell you is that at least from we're the China show.
Yes.
China is furious right now. And I'll tell you what, if you remove all the other, news about tariffs and stuff and just focus on the China part,
yes,
they're so worried.
Yeah.
Their economy is already on the brink.
Sure.
And a tariff of this magnitude to their biggest trade partner, right? They need America, right? Is devastating.
Absolutely devastating. I think what's even more devastating is this getting rid of de minimis.
Yes, and that's next.
Okay.
That's what I had next. So that's actually kind of part of this.
Yeah.
So there is this law. I don't know if you guys knew about this. We've talked about this. De minimis basically says that if something is under the value of $800 in a package.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not subject to tariffs.
It's not subject to tax and
to
stuff.
import taxes and stuff.
tax.
And also, not only that, it doesn't get inspected by customs.
Yeah, at least as much.
Yeah,
and
no,
they'll
it's
do random spot checks.
if you've got a big expensive item and it comes in through the border, it gets inspected.
Yes.
If it's under $800, it gets thrown in a pile. They'll pick out 1 out of 10 million because billions of this stuff comes through from Temu.
So it's a huge risk for drugs or contraband or anything bad that China's trying to get.
Oh yeah,
to
and they're
America.
sending in. We've covered this stuff that can kill you, like poison lead-based
Or
paint
shirts
toys.
that catch on fire.
You know, like hoodies that burn little girls, that kind of thing.
Yes. So this idea of ending this means that any small package would be subject to scrutiny, right? And the biggest part of this is that China has effectively destroyed a part of the American economy, and they've been doing this through economic warfare through companies like Temu and Shein.
Yeah.
And by using those companies, what they've done is been able to basically tax-free ship stuff from China cheaper than it would be for me to mail you something.
Yes.
Which is insane.
It's insane.
They've ruined mom and pop businesses. They've ruined small businesses. They've even encroached in Amazon and big corporations.
Of course, I mean, they can't compete because they have to pay import duties.
So you're in a situation then where China's taking advantage of de minimis and they're sending in and just flooding the market, right? When you end this, and this is what Trump is looking like he's about to do, you've effectively stopped one of China's biggest economic warfare loopholes, period.
Yes.
Period.
So, I mean, guys, look, when it comes to the tariff things, I think we all have our
own perspective.
our perspectives on the whole tariff thing. Whether it be good or bad, that's not what we're here to discuss. We're not interested in the domestic politics of it. We're, like you said, talking about China. And one thing that China has really been absolutely bending the world over with is this, well, at least the USA is with this de minimis thing. And again, I know we've explained this a million times, but if I were to make something here in America, if I sat in my backyard and I whittled something out of a twig, all right, and I wanted to send it to you in America, it would cost me more money to send it to you than a factory in China to send something of the same value. And that's what destroys all the local little businesses. And again, they can take my little thing. If people start buying my little whittled twig designs, they'll just copy it, mass produce it with the cheap labor and send it using Temu or Shein to people's doors, and they beat me and kick me out of the market. And that's their model. And I've been to these big sort of meetings that happen in China. I was once invited to speak at one of them. It's kind of this big thing of Amazon sellers and stuff, right?
How to take advantage of America.
How to take advantage of America. And one of the main things that they do is they go to see what products are selling well. They find out where it's made, because it's always made in a factory in China. They go and deal directly with the factory. They copy it, they reverse engineer it, or they outright just steal the design straight from them. You know, they offer them a kickback or something. And then they start making and producing it locally themselves and selling it on Amazon to undercut the original person who invented it and who's selling it on Amazon.
That's correct.
It's impossible to compete.
It is.
Absolutely impossible. So something like this is... Ending de minimis is probably the most positive thing that I can see coming out of this whole current situation, in my personal opinion.
I personally think the most positive thing is the fact that you can go to your Etsy shop and you can buy Winston's Whittle Twig.
Yeah, exactly. Which is never going to happen because it'll look terrible.
You know,
yeah,
I think you might be quite good at it. So this is hurting Temu and Shein massively.
Which is
in fact, what they're doing right now is trying to flood everything into America. They're going to have big warehouses of stuff that they have for a while.
Sure,
they can ship like domestically, but that'll run out.
Yeah,
this is great news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something we've
de
been
minimis
pushing
is
for
something I've been
for a while
pissed off about for a long time.
By the way, I just want to show you like a little bit of thought process. Okay.
Yes.
I can explain this.
Okay.
Okay. We're not promoting this.
No.
In this effort, I was like, well, you know what? If we're going to cover this, we have our own perspective about how China's getting damaged by tariffs. We know.
Sure.
But I wanted to see like what the foreign ministry is saying in China. I want to see what their official response is, because I can tell you they're furious, right?
Yes.
So I was trying to find a quote. Yes. So I went to their foreign ministry website.
Remember, the Foreign Ministry of Public Affairs retweeted my anti-propaganda?
They did. Yes. We should have done a little callback. I just wanted to show you the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
This is their English website for English people to go and see.
So to give you some perspective, if you're American, this is China's State Department. So if you went to the State Department website, can you just read this to
Okay,
to the
so
audience?
the heading is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the People's Republic of China.
It has nothing to do with the leader.
It's got a massive picture of Xi Jinping on the front, and it says, the 9th Asian Winter Games opens in Harbin. Xi Jinping attends the opening ceremony. That's the big thing. Now let's look at the side articles. Xi Jinping exchanges congratulations message, blah, blah, blah. The next one. Xi Jinping sends message of condolence to the next one. Xi Jinping meets with chief advisor of the next one. President Xi Jinping meets with representative. I mean, I'll get me out of there for a second. Look at that.
It's insane. What does this have to do with the foreign ministry? He's not the foreign minister.
Can I just point out that every single article is about Xi Jinping?
Yes.
Every single article.
Can we go to the State Department website?
Yeah, okay, we'll go to the American State Department website.
I just want to show you what our equivalent looks like, okay? After I need to throw this in.
Yeah, Xi Jinping is my God.
I mean, this is what that reminded me of.
Yes.
I believe this is in Hong Kong.
Yes, this is in Hong Kong. I hope that's a parody.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This is the State Department of the U.S. Secretary Rubio's meeting Belgian Prime Minister De Wever. Joint statement on trilateral states, Japan and Republic of Korea, meeting in Brussels. Secretary Rubio's meeting with Danish Foreign Minister, right?
Read more about Belgium.
Belgium, Jamaica, Guyana, embassies. Secretary Rubio's travel to Brussels. Learn more. Joint statement on Myanmar earthquake response. Remarks on international women's. More foreign gang terrorists deported out of America. Can you tell me where once it had something about Trump?
I mean, I think you have to go to CNN or something for that.
Or another news.
Yeah, exactly.
News outlet.
But not the government.
My point is the foreign, the U.S. State Department, the foreign ministry's equivalent. It's not like it's not all dominated headlines about Trump.
Well, I mean, there's not one mention of him in the entire
That was my
thing.
point, right?
But Xi Jinping is every single article. Isn't it just crazy how much of a cult of personality is going on in China? The fact that their foreign ministry can only post about him.
Yes.
Isn't it a bit embarrassing that there's nothing other than him?
It's kind of shameful.
It is shameful. It's dictator worship. It's like worshipping a false idol.
Beyond that, it's an idol.
Yes.
It's a commandment. It's breaking a literal Christian commandment is what's happening.
Yeah, it's insane. But every time we see this, because I mean, when you go to a Chinese newspaper like China Daily, it's the same. If you go to their newspaper, it's just Xi Jinping this, Xi Jinping that. Xi Jinping.
It's dominated.
Yeah, and it's like 80% of what's on the page. But when you went to that, it was 100%. It's
100%.
It's like, what's going on in this world?
I just wanted to show.
Yeah, we had to show because when we were looking it up. So, what's this? This is their response to the tariffs, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's listen.
On April 2nd Eastern Time, the U.S. issued an executive order announcing reciprocal tariffs on its major trading partners. It imposed a 34% tariffs on China, including its Hong Kong and Macau.
I just want to pause it here real quick. This is something that I'm sure they won't be happy I'm pointing out because I've seen through. I know what they're doing. We've discussed this. So it's not us reaching. We think we figured it out. Recently, China's been changing their websites and their design language of official reports to use this American blue color.
Well, that's a color of trust. Banks use it.
Banks use it, right? It's this kind of like before they would use red.
Well, they do.
They still do in China.
If you take any of the Chinese big, like the whole of the people, and they do all that crap for the CPPCC, whatever.
Sickle.
Yeah. Wait, what is that nonsense?
CPPCC.
It's the most violent-looking commie stuff you've ever seen, like
gold and red.
Gold and red is garish, right? So it's garish shit you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. But the problem is that when they have foreign out-facing outward things, they'll have different versions. So in fact, if you go to some of these Chinese state websites, you click the English version versus the Chinese version. The Chinese version is this garish hammer and sickle.
Red.
We will dominate the world.
Yeah.
It'll go to their
like
aerospace
soldiers.
website.
Yeah,
it's
remember.
Missiles, and you click the English one, it's like shaking hands. And
Yeah,
like
shaking
doves.
hands and like doves and peace and stuff. You click on the Chinese version, it's like missiles aimed at America.
So one thing I've noticed, we noticed this together, is we were like, they're using this American, when they do outward facing stuff to the foreign world, they don't use that design language. They don't use that imagery because they're not trying to intimidate. What they're trying to do is establish trust. So they're using these American colors.
They're just also copy and paste, let's be honest.
Yes.
They're like, this is what they do, so we'll do it.
But it definitely has a reason, logic behind it, because it's recently been changing a lot. Not this, but like the websites and official statements have been using this almost State Department blue. You go to the State Department website in the US, it's kind of that.
Yes.
And that's not what they do. That's not accurate.
Yep.
So I just wanted to, before we listen to the foreign minister's statement, I wanted to change it to be accurate.
I think we should do this going forward.
We should. And we will.
Okay, let's take a look. So what did you do?
We just made it accurate. The statement will be the same.
Do you have any comments? Under the pretext of a reciprocal, the U.S. has imposed additional tariffs on China and other countries' exports. This severely violates WTO rules and harms the rules-based multilateral trading regime. We firmly oppose this and will take firm measures to safeguard our legitimate rights and interests. We reiterate many times that trade and tariff wars have no winners and protectionism leads nowhere. We urge the U.S. to correct its wrongdoing and in the way of equality, respect and reciprocity to resolve trade and economic.
You know why China likes rules-based order? It's because they're always allowed to break the rules and no one else is.
There's no rule of law.
Yeah, no. And the rules-based order, have you seen, whenever it comes to like the Paris Climate Agreement or whatever, they never live up to their side of the bargain.
No.
When it comes to, we'll crack down on counterfeiting, they never do.
No.
But like, you're not allowed, I'll give you a good example of this. If we use any Chinese media thing, we get a copyright hit on our channel. There'll be like a content.
They'll steal our money.
Yeah, and it's like they take our money. We literally use one little thing. But in China, they're allowed to use any copywritten music. They'll use a Hollywood movie on state TV or something without paying for it. They'll use the music from Star Wars or anything. They use whatever they want, and there's never any repercussions.
Yes.
You know what's crazy is sometimes there'll be a clip where they've used like a scene from a Hollywood movie or something. And we take that clip and we put it into one of our videos. A Chinese company will copyright claim our video.
Yes.
Even though it's a Hollywood clip that they used.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just like, so they love this whole idea of rules-based orders because it's rules for thee, not for me.
And let's copy the State Department look so we can look trustworthy. And just pause it. Just going forward, this is not disingenuous. This is how it would look in China. So I made it look like it would in China because you shouldn't have a different outward-facing appearance. Stop tricking the rest of the world. You're a very sick and very, very terrible government with the worst human rights record.
Correct.
Just show your true colors. It's blood red and it's a hammer and sickle and you suck.
Yes.
I do want to say you can read between the lines, read the transcript of this. They are very, very, very worried about this tariff. They're furious. In fact, they knee-jerk react so hard today that they threw tariffs on the U.S., like reciprocal tariffs. They can't afford to do that. Nope. That's a very stupid move right now.
It's a very, very stupid move, yeah.
But you know what? It's very simple to explain. America, even if the tariffs end up being the worst idea ever or the best idea, who knows, right? What I will say is...
I think everybody knows. Yeah. Anyway.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't happened yet,
sure.
right? The fruits of this or the whatever happens. My point of this is that America is a country that has already achieved wealth. China didn't achieve wealth. China can't afford to do trade wars because it's poor, right?
Yeah.
You can't go into battle not wearing armor. You're not ready for this kind of thing. You're not Japan that hit stagflation or whatever and already had a developed economy.
Yeah.
Japan already had a developed economy when their economy tanked.
Yeah.
They could suffer through a bunch of boring years where everything kind of sucked, but nobody was dying.
Yeah.
China can't afford to do that.
No.
China's got hundreds of millions of abjectly poor
But that's
people.
the problem is people think they can because they see all the propaganda. They see the skyscrapers and they see the high-speed rails and all the propaganda that's shoved down your throat. And China's got a space program and they're sending astronauts up there and stuff. And people think China's got it made. But it's really a bunch of bluster and it's a massive facade because a huge portion of China is still incredibly poor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the poor people in China are going to take the brunt of the suffering.
And they can. My point is China can afford to do that because the leadership can stamp on the poor people. Just like when people die in a disaster, they lie and say only 100 people died when in fact tens of thousands of people die. And then they arrest people to talk about it. Or like the Zhengzhou flood.
Yes.
Right? So many modern examples of them doing this. They can just make people disappear and stop.
Yes.
So that nobody faces reality.
That's correct.
That's my point. They can't afford this.
Yeah.
They just can't afford this.
Yeah, excellent.
But yeah, very simple, quick thing. I just wanted to, there's some great articles out there right now.
Yeah, okay. You wanted to go through this last article?
Super quick.
Okay. Did I miss one? This guy's there we go.
U.S. finally reaffirmed commitment to Taiwan.
Good.
That was a little worrying. We weren't seeing much action on that front, but in public at least. From what we can see as normal people out there, it looked like people are being wishy-washy about the whole Taiwan thing. It looks like things are going to be committed to Taiwan, hopefully.
Yep.
A lot of live fire drills around Taiwan right now. It's very dangerous. And last thing I wanted to show is that there is proof now that China's really building up to some sort of thing. By the way, do you want to do this next time?
Yeah, we'll do it
I want to do a
next.
full breakdown.
We'll
of
do it
this.
next time, and we'll do this one next time too.
Okay, cool. There's a couple things we.
Yeah,
need to
there's
brush
some.
over.
We'd rather have the time. We're running out of time here, so
We are.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can get all this stuff next time.
Okay, we'll do it all next time. So, guys, it's time for Yum Cha. That's our Q&A segment where we answer your questions and you question our answers. We really do hope so far you've enjoyed the show today and learned something. But guess what? It's Friday. It's time to loosen the tie. If you're watching live or on the weekend, you're going to see the Q&A. If not, we bid you adieu. Stay awesome. But you can always catch the full Q&A if you're part of the Patreon.
That's right.
At any level.
K-pop Classic says, I wish there was more awareness that rich Chinese kids' money comes from their parents' corruption, like Tofu Dragon and other disasters. Dirty money skimmed from taxpayers, and these kids' wealth should not be celebrated. Well, I mean, a lot of it is, yes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's not the kids' fault.
No. But it's true that it's only the richest children are ever